doing well, and things are starting to really pick up for all the franchises. Wanted to just talk to each of you about building relationships, especially business relationships. The reason I wanted to talk about it today is yesterday I was supposed to do a webinar, and there was just a little mix-up. I normally do it on Tuesday, which I apologize that I missed profusely. Tony and Lydia are out town working with one of the franchisees, doing some training, and I was out of the office yesterday, and we had a little mix-up who was supposed to cancel, and anyway, I take responsibility for it. So I'm sending this out. The reason I missed yesterday, I've been doing some training with BNI, Business Networking International, for the last couple of Tuesdays and Fridays a little bit, and want to share some of the stuff that I've actually learned about it. And not so much even BNI, but more about building business relationships. And so hopefully you'll find value in this. This is just a couple minutes long, so I'm going to get started here. Probably the number one way to grow your business is having relationships. The best thing about building business relationships is you're simply not having to market once you have that relationship. And so whether we realize that all successful business owners have the same thing in common as they've built and maintained business relationships for years and years. Most business owners get held up in their daily routine and don't include the most critical piece of the puzzle, which is, if you want to be successful in your business, build business relationships. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Some of the other benefits, there's a lot of long-term customers can take you through the challenging and the slowest times of your business, including those slow months. A lot of you have slow months in December and January and February. When you have those long-term relationships, those customers, they can push you through those difficult times. We've all heard this, as our friends don't fire friends. They may not give you as much work at that time, but you still have work that's actually going on. So building relationships is a lot like building the relationship with our own partner, whether it's your wife, your husband, whatever partner you have, boyfriend, girlfriend. We all know that there's a lot of give and take. And at first, when you're building that relationship, there's usually a lot more give on our own part, is finding out what they're looking for in order to earn the trust. We all know that what happens when you start giving a lot of trust to other people, and while building that relationship, it does come back to you. Once that trust is earned, that's when you start liking each other. Again, it's like your own relationship. And once you like each other, it's about maintaining that relationship and continuing to work with people. We don't trust everybody that we like, but we don't like everybody that we trust. And knowing that, you build that business relationship. You don't always have to like them if you're trusting them. Part of maintaining the relationship is listening more than we talk. And I tell this to my family all the time. God gave us the 2 ears, 1 mouth. We need to listen a lot more than we actually talk. It's the same in our relationship. As we're building those, many times we think we know what the other person wants. We really don't. And then the relationship, it's got to have that continued nurturing and growth opportunities. It's got to be good for both halves. Some of the things I want to talk about now is, how do you build those relationships? Where can I go to start those relationships? And in our business, hang out with people that are looking for the same people as we are. Those can be in chambers, clubs, those types of places, chambers of commerces. Set goals when you go into these types of places, and know what you're hoping to achieve from that particular organization. You go in saying, do I want to meet prospective clients, their potential partners, job candidates or suppliers, whatever it is. When you're going into these places, think of what you're looking for. Set those goals right up front. You don't have to go in and throw up on people. The best thing to do is go in and just ask them about their own business. Some more tips is be prepared. Have an open mind, friendly attitude, bring lots of business cards. Typically, you don't have to put much on your business card. If you're doing home services, that's kind of vague. Put home services maybe on the back of your card. just put the exact services that you do. I see so many business cards where the people just try to put a whole brochure right on it. I can tell you what, I got a pile of business cards, 18 inches high. Most of those that are just, there's too much on there, I rarely read them. Mingle. Don't spend all your time talking to the people that you already know. That's what a lot of people like to do is, go out, have people, ask them, say, hey, do you know somebody that does blank? Who do you know, blank, that can help me with whatever? And just ask that question and be very, very approachable to them. Some of the other things that I learned too is this is probably the hardest for most people in the world is follow-up. When you meet somebody that you really want to get to know, use those things, such as one of the best tools that I use is the LinkedIn. After I meet somebody and I have their card and I put them into my database, I immediately will go to LinkedIn, follow up and just say, hey, we met at such and such, I'd like to be your friend. I'm always looking to grow my business. I'm a referral organization. Hey, if you happen to know anyone in property management, or you happen to know somebody in a skilled nursing facility, or somebody that releases patients from hospitals, just write that on there. You'll be surprised as you do it consistently how many referrals will start coming back to you. Take it offline. You can't grow a business just on the internet. You simply can't. You have to spend the face-to-face time as growing those relationships. You've got to shake their hand. You've got to give them the hug. You've got to go out to dinner, have the coffee with them. That's what it takes. That's how you really start building that trust with them. Some other tips is always keep in touch, whether it's a newsletter, a quick email. If you don't have much time, a quick phone call just every once in a while. The gentleman that I was working with out of Tennessee, he's just a master about following up on people. He writes things on people's business cards and then puts them in a database, when and why to call, and gives a little bit of information. And he collects 20 cards a day, and he spends about an hour a day just inputting information with them. He showed me his database of 28,000 plus people. And having a database, he said, I don't even tell people what I do. All I ever do is ask about them. They tend to go online, read about him, and then they start, eventually they come around to him. And he never, never, never has to sell to them, which I thought was incredible. And that base of 28,000, he's gotten that over the last 20-something years. Gets about 1,000 referrals a year and or cards somehow, some way. For ourselves, if we had 5,000 people in our database, we would have more work than we could actually handle. Harness technology, use contact management software to help you keep track of the information. Birthdays, anniversaries, those types of things. One of the best ones for that is LinkedIn and Facebook. Once you're a friend with them, if you have a business page with them, it already tells you when those things already are happening. Great way to keep in contact. I know Tony has talked to a lot of you about this, is the send-out cards. People love getting a greeting card. They love to see it. So probably the most important too is be patient. If you go into groups or you go into relationship thinking I'm going to immediately get business, guess what? It does happen. But if you want that repeat business that happens over and over and over, be patient. You got to talk to them. You got to actually do some planning together. You got to talk about the tough times, and actually get to know these people and what their hot buttons are as well. Your business is never as you start a business, it gets to be the best it's ever going to be after year 7. 7 years plus is when it gets to be there. Build the relationship. Most of you on the phone have not owned this business for just a couple of years. Knowing that, keep on building that business. After year 7, that's when things they blossom, and that's when your 2,000 contacts really start coming back to you because you're a trusted advisor, somebody that they would always trust. I've been in business now just about 7 years, and I find now that people are calling me from years and years and years ago because I have kept in contact through a newsletter or an email or just seeing them at a BNI group or wherever. There's this curve that is called the relationship curve that they talk about in BNI, which I was very impressed with. is the longer you're in a group and build a relationship, the more referrals that you're going to get. It doesn't happen immediately. You've got to build trust. And so as you're looking at the long term of your business, look at that trust factor. So, and again, BNI, their motto is givers gain, and that's for a lot of referral groups as well, is aim to give. If you give to them what they're looking for, it does come back every single time. One of the best books, and I've talked about this multiple times with a couple of you, this is a short book. If you read it front to back, you're about 6 to 8 hours total. Referral of a Lifetime, the networking system that produces bottom line results every single day. It just talks about the premises that everybody knows 200 people, and each one of those people know 200 people. So if you know 200 people, your database could be as large as 40,000 large. And 40,000 database, that's more work than any of us could handle, even if we only get 1% of those people. And it teaches you how to actually get into the database of other people, and people will start asking for you. So, guys, I hope you have a great week. What I want you to get out of this is start building those long-lasting relationships. That's what's going to grow your business in the short term, but even more importantly in the long term and during those slow periods of time. So, again, I apologize for yesterday, and hope you guys all have a great rest of the week. This is a busy time for a lot of you. Keep it up. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks.